Welcome to Lifestyle Solopreneur, the community for entrepreneurs who put lifestyle first. Join your host Flavia Barris as she interviews successful lifestyle solopreneurs and shares ideas to help you find the perfect balance between lifestyle, business, and self. Flavia is an attorney, marketing expert, and founder of several online academies. She's been featured in major media, including BBC World News, The Wall Street Journal, The New York Post, ESPN Television, and more. Join us for this episode of Lifestyle Solopreneur.
Hey, Lifestyle Solopreneurs. Today we get to speak with Freddie Rappina. He is a financial advisor and a chartered financial consultant, as well as an accredited investment fiduciary. He founded Opta Financial, where he helps clients examine their current financial situation, finance goals, and complete a financial analysis. He provides recommendations and then helps to implement and review plans for his clients. He's also the author of the book, Playing the Wealth Game, which is available on Amazon and Audible. Welcome to the show, Freddie.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So good to have you. I actually love the topic of finance. I love the topic of money. And I think it's one of those topics, it's not taboo necessarily to talk about it, but there is some sort of discomfort. It's not like talking about the weather or who won the sports game. And so I think people do kind of clam up and it's kept kind of private. And so the more conversations we can have around wealth building, money and finances, I think it's just better for everyone all around. So welcome to the show. Really excited for this conversation. So tell us a little bit about how you ended up where you are now with Opta Financial, because I know you weren't always in the finance world.
No, actually far from it. I'm a retired police officer. I know, but I was always interested in finance. But recently, my 12th, 13th year on the force, I wanted to get into finance, and I started studying for my certifications and doing all that. But I also wanted to do something different. I didn't want to be just the normal financial advisor that, just telling people that, hey, just invest some money in the market and wait for 30 years for compound interest to help build the wealth. And then you finally get your golden wheelchair at the end of your life. I don't believe in that. I didn't want to do that. So, but I know a lot of people think like that, and the financial world kind of forces that down people's throats. So wanted to, take my evidence-based mindset and really get around wealthy people and, well, what are they doing? Why is it so much different than what the financial world or even financial pundits, financial advisors are telling people to do? So definitely wanted to be different and help people actually build wealth, not just save money. Saving money sucks. Saving money is not fun.
Saving money doesn't sound sexy at all. But building it and protecting it and using it, those are the conversations everyone wants to have.
Right. Yes. And that's why I wrote the book, Playing the Wealth Game, because I wanted it to be known that, in my opinion, there are two different games going on in finance right now. So I wanted people to understand there were two games and for them to figure out which one they wanted to play. So the middle class has just really forced this idea of just saving and saving. And I call it checkers. And living debt free and all that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those strategies. What I wanted to do is make sure that people understood the expectations of what those strategies can do. You can live a nice life. You can be happy, and that's super important. You can retire. You can go on vacations every once in a while. But what you can't do, in my opinion, is become wealthy. To become wealthy, you have to play chess. And chess is a totally different game with totally different set of rules. And a lot of it flies in the face of checkers. So checkers, and the biggest the thing that's going to separate a checkers player and a chess player, in my opinion, will be their attitude towards debt. So if you're a checkers player, you want to stay the hell out of debt. You want to have everything paid off, including your house and absolutely everything. But if you're a chess player, you actually want to be in as much debt as possible without over leveraging yourself. So just that right there, the two games are completely different. right? So I definitely wanted to get that kind of message out because there's definitely people that, building wealth to them is very important. And there's other people that are like, well, I just don't mind this lifestyle they're living. I just want to be a little more comfortable. And for them, checkers is going to be fine. So I don't say anything is right or wrong. It's checkers and chess. But by the end of the book, you should not be screaming at the moon anymore. Why do the rich keep getting richer and everybody not? You're not playing the same game. They're playing a totally different game. And if you want those kind of results, you actually have to do those things, right? You're not going to have uncommon results doing common things. I hear it all the time. Like, people ask me, well, don't most people do this? And I'm like, yeah. Do you want what most people have? Because if you want something different than what most people have, you have to do different things. You cannot have uncommon results doing common things. And so I think it just took a little bit of a brash cop attitude and really willing to say things that other wealth advisors just dare not say out loud.
So are you good cop or bad cop?
Oh, it's definitely a good cop. It's just what you
tough love or
yeah, my clients pay me to tell them the truth. I mean, it's and if you want, it's like, it's like any other discipline. You want somebody to care about you, but also not be hard on you a little bit, right? That's why you hire a personal trainer or a coach or anything, right? You do want that a little bit of that tough love, and you also want someone who understands what it takes to get there too. So,
absolutely,
sure.
So when people come to you, what are some of the common things people get wrong? What are some of the common mistakes that act as a barrier to true wealth?
One of the biggest things, in my opinion, is the idea of compound interest. It is, in my opinion, a very oversold concept to the middle class. And I'm not saying compound interest is wrong. It's not wrong. It's math. It can't be wrong. I'm saying it's oversold as a way to build wealth. So if you're getting like a 7% rate of return, your money should double every 10 years, right? That's like a rule of thumb. That's great. But how many sets of 10 do you have? And how old are you going to be when this money that you're saving and is compounding actually gets to it and a number where you're going to be able to take an income from that number and actually enjoy yourself? How long is that going to take? Right. So, but in my opinion, it's a systemic issue because it's forced down the middle class's throat. And then the people that you're giving your money to, whether that be a bank or an investment company and you're purchasing mutual funds or whatever, insurance companies, what do you think they're doing with it? Do you think they're doing the same things, or do you think they're building wealth right now for themselves? So it's that fly in the face idea. It's like, yeah, but it's a do as I say, not as I do system a little bit. And compound interest is, in my opinion, is just oversold. Not that it's not helpful, it is, but if you're going to play chess and you want to become wealthy, you have to understand how debt works and how to use it to your advantage. Debt is like fire. If you use it correctly, it'll cook your food, it'll heat your house, it'll do good things for you. If you let it get out of control and let it do whatever it wants to do, it'll burn absolutely everything to the ground. So it's a tool and it can be really, really good. So, but people have to have the right attitude and the right expectation. And when I'm using debt in this context, I don't mean like running your credit card out of Walmart. I mean like purchasing things that are going to increase income and cash flow. And that is not as prevalent as I would like it to be. I feel like a lot of financial advisors don't focus on income as much as they are rates of return in the market. So I am a full believer in like, okay, how do we build more income and get it to the point where you're able to do some pretty cool stuff, right? Did you watch the Super Bowl this past go around?
The game, the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No, actually not all of it. Did see like some key snippets, but go on.
Did you see the commercials? Any of the commercials?
Oh yes, those are key snippets.
Okay,
those are always the key snippets. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one. My favorite commercial from the Super Bowl was the Temu commercial, for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't realize it's actually pronounced Temu. I've been saying it wrong for a few years now. But the other reason why it's my favorite is because the tagline to it was "Shop like a billionaire," and I was very intrigued because it was selling the idea that the relationship between a typical American income and the products that are sold on Temu, the relationship is distant enough for somebody to feel like they're shopping like a billionaire on Amazon. Because so that but I don't think people put enough emphasis on that relationship in their regular financial life where they're saying, how can I build more income? You hear all the time, like live within your means. And I'm not going to say there's no truth to that. I'm like, yeah, people should live within their means. But the other thing that you don't hear enough, in my opinion, is make more means. So because if you make more means, the distance between the cost of the goods and services and the income they expand, and you're able to be more comfortable with expenses. So just a funny way of expressing it in that commercial.
So people often look at a financial plan or financial investments as sort of a pie chart, right? I mean, that's one way to demonstrate to someone like, here's where all your assets and where your money is, where it went, right? You've got some stocks, you've got some bonds here. You can also do a pie chart for income. Like, here's where all your money's coming in from. Here's your W-2 job where you work for someone else. Here's some money you're making from, I don't know, your Etsy store, whatever it is, right? We can have a pie chart for each. And do you think that there's sort of a pie chart that is the sort of standard here in America and, in the US? I mean, it's different around the world, but in the US, that's just kind of that common cookie cutter pie chart. And how would you tell someone to take that common pie chart and be a little bit more outside the box and think a little more about it? I'd love to hear.
The plan, a financial plan, is about as the actual paper and binder that you get. That's about it as good as a doorstop. But planning the process of setting goals, achieving them, and understanding that your plans are going to change, right? You ask anybody that's ever been in the military or anything similar that no plan has ever survived the first contact with the enemy. Like plans just forget it. You have to change your plan. You're going to have to audible. You're going to have to change it up on the fly. But if you have planned, your chances of being able to handle the change increase greatly. So, but yeah, the cookie cutter thing, especially with American finance, fund retirement accounts. And I'm not saying any of this stuff is bad, but purchase insurance policies, fund retirement accounts, have 6 months of savings for emergencies. All this stuff, and if you don't have your stuff together, right? If you're up to your neck in credit card debt and all that stuff, you need to play checkers, and you need to play it well or better, right? It's just have the understanding that is not going to bring you to the promised land. Sooner or later, you have to switch over to chess if that's your goal, right? And I'll prove it to you. I live in Tampa, so. When we're not having hurricanes, there's usually boat shows down there. If I walked up to somebody with a $25 million yacht and asked them, hey, how'd you afford this yacht? This is awesome. Do you think that person's going to respond with, I fully funded my IRA, or I bought a well-diversified mutual fund, or I bought some insurance policy with a guaranteed X rate of return or whatever? Those aren't going to be the answers, right? So why do we think that if we just continue to do, again, what they say, that we're going to be able to achieve some higher level of wealth? It's not likely going to happen that way. But purchasing assets, purchasing real estate, purchasing businesses, that is going to help us get to a higher level.
It's amazing. I want to hear a little bit about your writing process. A lot of people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, they're like, hey, I have something to say, and I'd love a book that has my philosophies, my voice, my teachings in it. And you've done that. You've actually accomplished kind of the holy grail, right? You managed to write a book because everyone has this aspiration I would say 9 out of 10 people I talk to have a book in them that they wish they could get out. But it's hard to do. I mean, it's a big task. It's kind of like the Everest of term papers, right? You have to write and you have to, some people speak their books, other people write them. But in any event, you have to organize your thoughts and get it on paper. And it's a big project. How did you do this? What was the inspiration to write your book and how did you get it done?
Yeah, it was an undertaking. It took about a year and a half. And especially when you're writing a financial book and financial times are changing while you're writing the book, you have to make some revisions. So, and it's kind of like getting a business tattoo, right? Because it's written, you wrote it in a book. So there's that element as well. But, just had to, working with a team, working with a good editor, Shirley Trump, I'll give her a shout out. And just going over things constantly and making sure that it is clear and it's what I wanted to say. And the other people that are reviewing the book, they're receiving it the way I wanted it projected. Because when you're thinking your own thoughts and you're seeing out your own eyeballs, it's hard to have that perspective and making sure that people are going to receive your message the way you intended to give it. Sometimes it's like, how did that person not get that from that? But they didn't. And if they didn't get it, that means thousands of other people won't get it and you have to change and write it in such a way that, no, they understand better now. So I wanted it to be a readable book. I didn't want it to be a financial mumbo jumbo book. So, but yeah, take some time for sure.
And that's the hard part, is to take something like finance and make it interesting in a book. And I mean, you've done that. That's why your book's a bestseller. You've done a really good job of that. So for that, I commend you, because I think, again, I'm a big fan of increasing the knowledge out there about finances and how to sort of grow wealth in a real way that is, like you said, not just checkers, but actually moving on to that chess level. I love that analogy. I think it's such a good one.
Yeah. And also when we talk about the chess level, you don't have to be at the Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos level to play chess. Like people think like, I'll never be as rich as those people. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm never going to be good as Aaron Judge in baseball or Tiger Woods at golf. It doesn't mean I don't practice and try to do the best I can, right? So it just having that idea, like, well, it doesn't take a ton more to get you to a much better level. It doesn't take it. Think about it if you had just an extra $5,000 a month in your life, and what would that? How many doors would that open? And what would that feel like? And these aren't like impossible numbers, right? And 50 million, okay, maybe that's going to be difficult, right? But just an extra few thousand, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 passive income or recurring income coming into your life. What is that? What door does that open up? Does that allow you to focus on your business differently? All right. And I know a lot of your audience might be like in their 9 to 5 and they're looking to take on an entrepreneurial role, and they might want to phase out. Like, yeah, take it from somebody who's done it. I completely leverage that, right? It's okay to leverage your 9 to 5 and say, okay, I know my family's going to eat, everything's going to be fine with my 9 to 5. And I'm able to build my business slowly but surely and make sure it's got a good foundation before I cut the cord from the 9 to 5. So I think that's important. That's the way I did it. I mean, there's some people that go with the attitude that they're going to burn all the ships, so there's no way back. And that's certainly another way to go. But I certainly didn't choose that one.
Well, tell us a little bit about your company, because Opta Financial, it helps clients. Who's it for? If anyone's listening and you're like, I want to maybe find out more about Opta Financial, where would they go? So tell us a little bit about it. I love hearing about people. I think businesses and companies, it's sort of like our babies, and I just love to hear kind of that origin story.
Yeah, I really enjoy taking people to that next level of wealth, whatever that means to them. But it's definitely for people who have probably saved a lot of money, but they're not feeling it. Like I use like a doctor as an example a lot. Let's say the doctor just graduates med school. They're working as a resident and they're making very little money. They got a mountain of student loan debt, and they're working out hours, and they're thinking to themselves, man, one day this is all going to be worth it because 20 years from now, I'm going to be making, I don't know, let's say $400,000 a year, and I'm going to be living it up, and it's going to make everything worth it, right? But and then they do everything that the checker teachers say to do, right? And they save a whole bunch of money, and they've done a great job saving. But they probably haven't done a good job building wealth because now it's 20 years later, and they still don't feel it. They are making really good money, but they're not feeling like their lifestyle is increasing. So we like taking that person from the checker's mindset to the chess mindset if they want to do that, and we're very good at it.
Well, many of our guests are super generous like yourself and offer something of value, something free and complimentary to the audience of Lifestyle Solopreneur. And you have offered a complimentary consultation, which I thought was an amazing gift. So thank you for that. We are linking it in our podcast guest gift vault. So podcastguestgift.com is how you access the vault with all of our guests' very generous freebies and gifts. But you can also go directly. So feel free to share that direct Calendly link as well. But tell us a little bit about what does a complimentary consultation involve?
Sure. We don't want to charge for consultations to guests because we want to provide value, right? But the whole consultation process is making sure that we're going to be a good fit, that we're going to be a good fit for the client, and the client's going to be a good fit for the firm. Making sure the expectations are correct on both sides, to ask a whole lot of questions about our firm and what our services are. And importantly, a few questions that anybody should ask any wealth advisor, including myself, is, are you a fiduciary? That's number one, right? Because a fiduciary has to act in the best interest of the clients, not in their own best interest. And not everybody that claims to be a financial advisor has that legal standard. So you definitely want to ask that. And the other question would be like, it's okay to be like, hey, are you good yourself? Right? Nobody wants to, if you walk to a gym and you said, hey, I want a personal trainer, and somebody completely out of shape showed up and said like, hey, I'm going to be your personal trainer, that wouldn't send the right message, would it? So and without getting too personal, it's okay to be like, okay, well, do you practice what you preach? Right. And we certainly do that. So, but the consultation is really just is to make sure that people are going to be able to be a good client. And our fees are as low as possible, lower than the market average. And we can do that for two reasons. One is because we have a good partnership that we don't have to do a whole lot of marketing for and we get a lot of business from. And the other reason is I know how to build wealth myself. And so I don't have to bleed out the clients to provide a great life for my kids and my family. So and technology has really expanded too. So because of all those reasons, we have lowered our fees and kind of passed that savings on to the clients.
Well, it's been great learning about Opta Financial. And any parting words for people who are sitting at home, maybe feeling a little bit blue about their own finances and maybe feeling almost like listening to this and thinking, man, I have played this game all wrong. I'm here, I'm not even playing checkers. I'm playing like skipping stones, or like I'm just not even in the game at all. And it can be discouraging also to feel like we're running out of time. But what would you say as words of encouragement before we part for someone who's sitting there in that feeling?
Yeah, I was a hardcore checkers player years ago, working a million hours of overtime for the police department, trading dollars for hours. And it's a mindset shift. Once you switch your mindset over, everything becomes clearer. You feel like you actually can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And it can be great. I mean, but as long as you're, comfortable being uncomfortable a little bit and doing it from an abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset, I think any of this is possible. I mean, I wasn't born into wealth, and it's been great. So it's definitely possible.
And As one last parting thought, remind us again, where can people find a copy of Playing the Wealth Game?
Playing the Wealth Game can be found on Amazon. There's even an audible version. So for people who don't necessarily just want to listen to it in the car or whatever, there's an audible version on Amazon. It's a Kindle version. You can also find it at Barnes and Nobles. So it's out there. It's currently number 6 in investing. And, definitely one of those things where I really wanted to get it to number 1. But right now, the number 1 book is written by Warren Buffett. Yeah, he's pretty good too. So at least it's in good company.
Well, let's do our best to help knock Warren Buffett off that top perch and get you up there to number 1. That would be amazing. So again, Freddie, it's been so nice to speak with you today. I love picking the brain of someone who really works in this topic, finance, helping people build wealth instead of just saving it. So I absolutely love chatting about this, and it's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Guess what, lifestyle solopreneurs? If you don't yet have an online business earning you enough passive income to live the life of your dreams, I'd like to suggest you consider trying out Kajabi. Kajabi is an all-in-one solution where you can create and teach online courses, publish a paid newsletter, launch a free or paid podcast, process payments, build one-on-one coaching portals for your clients, and much, much more. I personally use Kajabi to power numerous successful and profitable online businesses. Lifestyle solopreneurs, there's a free trial of Kajabi waiting for you at this link, www.kfreetrial.com. You can try Kajabi for free, no obligation, by going to www.kfreetrial.com. Again, kfreetrial.com, and that K stands for Kajabi. Starting an online business helped me break free from that corporate grind, and I hope it does the same for you. You have nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe to the show, and see you next time.